Okay, we are going to start with the webinar. Good morning and welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us to see how integrated billing on Salesforce can transform your financial operations. My name is Sander Holsmit. I'm an account executive at Salesforce for Revenue Cloud and located in the Netherlands, but have a focus on the UK manufacturing market. I've been with Salesforce for 10 years and always been involved in commerce and successfully supporting large complex projects in both B2B and B2C domains. My expertise lays in bringing together various aspects such as commerce, order management, CPQ, billing, and contract management. And I'm joined today by one of our top Revenue Cloud partners, Fix Technologies, and two of their experts to talk about this topic. Justin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, Sander. So, hi everyone. My name's Justin Wheatley, Director of Lead to Ledger. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for just over 16 years now. 10 of those I was in a senior finance role on the customer side, and the last 6 years I've been in the consultancy space, helping customers avoid the pitfalls that I went through when I was on the customer side. With that, pass over to my partner in crime, Bish.
Thank you, Justin. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Vishwendra, but you can call me Bish. I look after solutions and innovation here at Fix, and I've been advising organizations through their lead to cash and product to cash transformations for more than a decade. I'm also a proud member of the Partner Advisory Board for Salesforce Revenue Cloud, where I work very closely with Salesforce product managers and influence the roadmap. With that, back to you, Sander.
Thank you, Bish, and thank you for the introduction, Justin. So what we will cover during today's session is first we will highlight some industry trends related towards revenue recognition. We will give an introduction towards Salesforce Billing. The Fix team will demonstrate how a quote to cash is being handled on the Salesforce platform, and we will end with a Q&A session. So if you have any questions during the session, please post them in the chat window so we can answer them after the demonstration. When we have a look to the global market, businesses have a difficult mandate to accomplish profitability, selling efficiently and improve customer relationships, all while reducing costs. As chief financial officers and/or chief revenue officers are tasked with a big challenge to drive profitable growth while reducing costs. So when we're focusing on accelerated growth, 3 priorities are driving profitable growth for both sales and finance teams. This often means optimizing the revenue process to be more efficient and scalable, while providing full visibility across departments. Finance in particular needs control over compliance with the deal cycle, including pricing and discount controls, margin monitoring, and revenue recognition. As organizations look to remain competitive, many are expanding their revenue streams with new recurring and usage revenue models. This requires agility from revenue technology to bring new products to the market quickly. To increase seller efficiency, businesses want to help sellers close more deals faster. And to do this, they require sales technology that streamlines and automates these final stages of a deal cycle. Most sellers are spending hundreds of hours every year just on creating quotes and waiting for approvals from management, finance, and legal. This delays the deal and puts the relationship at risk and results in revenue leakage. Seller needs to have the right data and tools to deliver the right products to the right customers, requiring full visibility into the revenue lifecycle. Sellers need to optimize which customers and deals they want to spend time on, and which deals, upsells, or renewals can be completed via self-service. For this reason, 3/4 of organizations are reconfiguring their technology to improve the seller workflow. When organizations focus on improving the customer relationship, their customers want greater flexibility and opportunities for self-service across the deal cycle. Enabling customers to manage their own purchases and renewals frees up sellers to focus on more complex sales. And customers also want greater transparency across the deal cycle. How are discounts being applied to the order? Is the invoice accurate? Is the flexibility in the terms of the contract? And is the flexibility in how they can pay? Addressing all of these is a challenge on its own, much less doing so while reducing cost across talent, margin, and operation costs. Many companies are implementing the Netflix model of subscription-based revenue. Traditional companies sold products or services to their customers for a one-time fee. And now customers don't want to be charged for service or product they don't need. Therefore, businesses are adopting to flexible pricing options. In fact, 68% of CFOs have or are planning to launch products with recurring revenue models. In addition, many companies are also looking at usage-based revenue, like the utilization-based pricing for leasing. Traditional CPQ, configure price quote, quoting software, and ERP, enterprise resource planning systems, cannot manage these changing pricing models, causing companies delays in recognizing revenue. From a billing standpoint, companies are forced to have separate invoices for different revenue models, causing a disjointed customer experience. And this is where Salesforce can help, as it's uniquely positioned to allow customers the flexibility to include all three based on their customer needs. And let's look how these changing demands influencing your quote-to-cash processes. Almost every department within a company has a skin in the game when it comes to quote-to-cash. At the end of the day, companies want to be paid for the products they sell or the service they provide. Here you see an example of a customer sales process and the respective tasks from prospecting to onboarding and growing their account. Underneath in gray, you can see the Salesforce CPQ and billing capabilities that help along the process and the functionality that enables them to do so. Next slide, please. Once the sale is closed, the work is far from over. From there, various departments step in to ensure the cash is collected and the customer is successfully onboarded. Salesforce quote-to-cash solution helps service the customer's billing inquiries and ensures accurate data when closing the books. Lastly, once all of this data from each touch point is stored, our customer's finance team can devise strategies to grow the business margin. In the next slide, we will take a deeper dive on how CPQ plus billing can deliver value in a business strategy workflow. This is a non-exhaustive list of potential value drivers for the combined quote-to-cash solution, broken out by product-driven KPIs. So when we look to the CPQ quantified benefits, most of you are familiar with the benefits generated through CPQ, including higher win rates, reducing discounting, and significant degrees in quoting areas. Remember that no AE wants to spend their time searching for SKUs and using pricing calculators that spit out incorrect numbers. The solution allows them to focus on generating quicker sales and establishing credibility early with new customers. From a billing quantified benefit, we focus on less cost of invoicing. Now all different revenue models are encompassed on one invoice versus many. Increased productivity within the billing department, which generates cost savings, and you see a shorter days sales outstanding as the process improves the collect to cash. From a combined perspective, the financial derive from cost saving associated with finance department, productivity driven by less manual intervention in the data reconciliation process before closing the books, reduction in cash acquisition delays, and increased customer satisfaction leading to less attrition. Next slide, please. Many businesses view the product to cash life cycle as a distinct series steps rather than a unified journeys. Silos across sales and finance make it nearly impossible to deliver on a good customer experience. Oftentimes, each of these components live in multiple systems, leaving sales and finance swivel chairing to get the information they need to close the deal cycles. In a world where businesses need to be agile, adapting to new ways of buying, new expectations, and new revenue models, this connected journey is critical. Each step has a downstream effect. The product catalog is critical in the quoting and order orchestration steps. Quotes needs to be connecting to billing system in order to create accurate invoices. Contracts need data from the quote, and payment and collection need to be tied back to the customer account for rep visibility when managing future deals. And historical billing systems were not built with the customer experience in mind because they were designed to automate and streamline a linear business process. From one-time sales to bill, fulfillment, payment, transaction complete, billing systems or ERP embedded were focused on generating accurate bills quickly and efficiently, rather than how those bills were presented to the customers or how they might impact the customer experience. Since bills used to be always come after the sale, they were typically created in ERP. However, as the customer relationships have gotten more complicated and the new business models emerge, many companies have recognized they can't do it in ERP anymore. And that's where Salesforce Billing is the answer to this modern business problem. Unify the order to cash in CRM to enable recurring business models, design a unified customer experience, and improve cash flow. Gordian, an independent investment bank providing financial advisory services in distressed and complex situations, saw a 125% increase in year-over-year on revenue growth. When we look into the Revenue Cloud ROI report, Salesforce Billing customers saw an average of 11% increase in number of days outstanding, DSOs. Hereby, I want to hand over the stage to Bish to introduce Fix technologies and how they can help organizations to create accurate invoices, collect cash faster, and grow recurring revenue with Salesforce Billing. Bish, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Sander. I am excited to introduce Fix technologies. At Fix, we focus on simplifying and accelerating lead-to-ledger transformations for our customers, offering a suite of services tailored to meet our customers' needs, ranging from advisory to managed services. We have strategically partnered with a variety of ISVs to help our customers automate their lead-to-ledger processes and modernize their revenue operations. You can see a few of them here on the screen, which enhances the overall lead-to-ledger process. We are also proud to be recognized as a Salesforce-approved billing partner, which is a testament to our expertise and commitment to delivering innovative billing and payment solutions to our customers. Our certified team is spread across the UK, North America, Europe, and India, providing a global perspective on projects. With that, I will hand it over to Justin, who's going to walk us through different ways of bridging the gap between CRM and ERP systems using Salesforce Billing, and also give us a demo of the same. Justin, the stage is yours now.
Thank you, Bish. So thank you for that great introduction. So we've discussed that currently you've got different kind of silo systems at the moment, and the customer touch points are in different places. So if we think about the way the world has evolved, the forgotten customer touch point has always been that invoicing section. So you have your CRM, which handles all of your marketing engagement. You then go through sales, you generate sales documents and quotes and contracts. And then we come to billing and you generate invoices from there. And that is also a customer touch point. So what we're discussing today is how Salesforce Billing can help you with that journey and that customer satisfaction. So on the screen, you can see a number of different ways that Salesforce Billing can interact. So you can have order to billing. So that's where CRM takes your quote and generates it into an order, and then starts to generate those invoicing transactions, but it doesn't actually generate the invoice. So you hand off those billing events, you hand them off into your billing systems or into your ERP. The next stage that we can actually go to is order to invoice. Now that's where we can actually generate that invoice directly from Salesforce, and we can also distribute that invoice. You can then hand over to your billing system or your ERP to then collect the payments and do the payment reconciliation and all of your financials. The third option is actually order to payment, and that's the one we're going to be covering today as part of the demo. So this is where we generate the invoice, we distribute the invoice, but we can also collect those payments in. So we're managing payments within the Salesforce platform. So that's payment collection and payment allocation. Again, you're then passing off that data into your ERP to handle all of the financial transactions as well as the revenue recognition. And then the final piece I'm going to mention is what we call the order to recognition. And as Fix, we like to call it lead to ledger. And this is where you can handle all of your revenue recognition directly within the Salesforce platform. And again, you pass off those journals directly into your system of choice. So that could be SAP, could be Microsoft Dynamics, it could be Oracle. But everything before that is handled within Salesforce. So we are really talking about moving those extra customer touch points, which I call the forgotten customer touch points of the invoicing and the kind of the communications around collections. That then shifts into your CRM. Okay, so today we're going to be focusing on the demo is going to focus on a fictitious company called Impressio. Now, Impressio, they're a manufacturing company and they offer inline printing, coding and marketing solutions for product identification. So imagine when you go and buy your eggs or your packets of crisps or your Coke bottles, you have these codes and expiry dates that are printed onto those bottles or packages. Now, what Impressio do is they come and install their hardware into your printing or into your manufacturing lines, so that as the products are being manufactured, the labels are printed, and it's all part of your manufacturing. Now, the challenge is, and Sandra alluded to this earlier, that people are changing the way that they go to market with their products. There is a shift from the traditional, here you buy your hardware, that's it, it's a one-off cost. One and done, as I like to call it. But Impressio, we're moving towards a software subscription model, but also a consumption/usage model. So rather than their kind of one-off hardware, we're now going to move into, here's where you kind of rent the hardware, you pay a subscription for the services, but also you can then start to selling a consumption-based model. Now, what I'm going to focus on today, there's going to be 3 personas. So Jess is our AE, and she works for Impressio. She's actually selling the software solutions. We've also then got Laura. Laura is our credit controller working for Impressio, and she's actually going to be working directly from Salesforce. And then we have Beth. Beth is our COO from the customer side, and she works for Coca-Cola. Okay. With that, I'm now going to actually jump into the demo and I'll show you where the magic takes place. Okay, so I am logged into my org as Jess. So Jess has sent out this quote. She's configured the quote. There are a number of products on there. So we've got what we call our premium utility package. And we have a setup fee for the setting up the services, implementing the hardware into the manufacturing, and then the impressions setup. And then there's also what we call the usage. So Jess has sent this out to our customer, Beth. Beth has reviewed it. She's looked at it. She's happy with it. She's accepted the quote. And what she's also done is confirm that actually she would like to pay her account by a bank transfer. So in the quote, I would have had an alert. I'm not going to go through that because this is not a CPQ demo, but in the background, I would have had an alert to say that my quote has been accepted. And I can view that now. And my quote has been accepted. I can also see that an order has been created. Now, the order is where we're going to start to feed the billing side. So Jess can now move off. She can go and work on other deals. Let's now log in as Laura. So this is Laura's home screen. I'm just going to give a quick refresh. So Laura can have a look at her home screen. She can have a look at all of the things that she's got going. You can see that there's an order here. So this is the order that has just been created from the quote that Jess sent out. And she's also got some dashboards here, which she can start to work on later. Now, what Laura's going to do, she's just going to open up this order and have a quick check. So she doesn't have to, but Laura can run her eyes down this and say, okay, let's just make sure that everything here looks correct. I have my estimated tax. So Salesforce has applied the tax based upon the VAT rules that have been configured. We can see the billing day of the month has been set to the first day of the month. And we can see the products that have been created. Now, let's just focus on these products quickly. So I can see that we've got some usage summaries that have been created. Now, the usage summary, that is where we're going to be loading any of that consumption-based data that has happened throughout the month. So we have our lines here, which are our impressions recurring fee. That's going to be billed for in advance. We have our impression setup fee. Now that doesn't have a billing type, so that's going to be billed as a one-off. So as we start to move through the recurring invoicing, this impression fee will just appear on one invoice. It will then drop off. And we have our impression usage. Now, this impression usage is where we are going to be billing for those consumptions. So all of the impressions that have been utilized throughout that month will be added into what we call a usage object, which will then calculate if there are any overage that need to be billed. So we can see our different types of products and how they're going to be billed on here. Let's just go back to our order. Okay, my order has actually now moved from awaiting fulfillment and it's now fulfilled. So it means in the background, the people working on this order to get it up and running have done everything that they needed to do with regards to that order. So let's now move into generating some invoices. So as a credit controller or as a business, I can create billing invoicing schedules. Now these invoicing schedules can be, I want to run all of my invoicing on the first day of the month, or I want to do a daily invoice run. Now this can be set up to run automated, but for the purpose of the demo, I'm just going to go and create a daily invoice schedule, but I'm going to mimic that I'm doing a run at the end of the month. So I'm going to mimic that. I'm going to generate all of my invoices for the 1st of June. Now, as we're going through the month, there are going to be usages that are created. So our customers are using the service, they are utilizing the service, and there are usage records that are going to be imported into the system. And that could be as part of a daily, that could be an hourly, or it could be a monthly run. And it really does depend on your business. So as Jess, I'm just going to come into my monthly invoice scheduler. Like I say, this will be set up and will be looked to run automatically. So my target date, I'm going to run for the 1st of June. And I have my invoice date as the 1st of June. I'm actually running it today. So I've got today's date in there. And I'm just going to set up the time to be 11:28. So when the clock strikes 11:28, then this invoice scheduler will start to run. Like I say, This will be, you can have this set up so it can either be a daily run, a monthly run, or you can do it as an ad hoc run, which is a one-off, if you've got any one-off charges that you would like to run. Okay, so let's just wait for that clock to tick. I'm currently in Sweden, so if you can see my clock as 12, I'm an hour ahead at the moment. Okay, brilliant. So we've now hit the 12:28. So let me go to my related list. Now, my related list is where all of my invoice schedulers are running. So I can see my invoice date is the 1st of the 6th and the target date of the 1st of the 6th. And this tells me my invoice run is running and there are a number of jobs that this is going through. So in order to generate invoices, your order must be activated. The invoice run date, so the next billing date, must be at the date that I'm running this. So I've set it to the 1st of June. So it's going to pick up any orders that have a billing date which is up to the 1st of June. So that could include anything previous. It could be any invoices that are in May. Now, what this does, it goes through, it looks at all of the orders and all of the order items, and it then starts to create the invoices. It will also apply the VAT that we've set up, and it will also look for any usages that have happened, and it will put those usages onto an invoice. So it goes through a number of different processes. What I'll do now is I will just refresh this. Okay, we can see that's 100% complete. What I'm going to do now is just select Bill Now. So if you want to quickly bill invoices, rather than waiting for an invoice scheduler, you can do so. So I'll hit Save. Now what this is doing in the background, it's going to generate our invoice. So let's navigate to the invoice now. And we can have a look at the invoice. We can see our invoice lines, our one-time fee, and our recurring fee. I'm just going to post this. And what I'm doing by posting it is it can also be posted to the customer, which can be is an automated process, but I'm committing it to the ledger. So I'm generating those revenue recognition transactions, but also I'm creating the invoice document. So let's give it a quick refresh. Okay, and this invoice document has been generated using the Omni Studio functionality that comes out of the box with Salesforce CPQ Plus and Billing. Let's open up this invoice. And here we can see my invoice that's been generated for Coca-Cola. So we can see we've got our impression setup fees and our recurring fee. And we can see it's broken down by subtotal, VAT, and total amount. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to navigate back to my accounts receivable page. So I can see that my order has gone and I can see a number of different dashboard components here. So I can actually expand this. So I can go to my dashboards and I can look at my Impressio accounts receivable dashboard. So what this is showing me at the moment, it's showing my cash collected year to date. It's showing me the value of that cash collected year to date. So this is broken down by month. It's showing me the invoices that are due this month, which is 7.5 million. I've also got an aged debt here, which I can then start to look into. So let's drill down into some of these components. Let's have a look at my invoices that are due 120 plus days. So you can drill down into that data behind, and I can start to have a look at how those invoices are actually made up. So I can see that the Campbell Soup Company, that's got a total invoice overdue on 10,000. So we can actually have a look at those invoices in more detail, or I can go directly to the account and I can have a look at the account and see the data on the account. So here we've got an account balance of 360,000 and my invoices open are 360,000. We've got a list of all of my invoices. So let's open this up. So we can see some invoices that have been paid. We can see invoices overdue, and we can see invoices that are not quite due yet. Let's go back to my dashboard. What we can also look at is I can look at my accounts with the highest balance on. So I can see this account as the highest debt on. But also I can see I've got the ability to be able to work with my invoices and understand if there's any queries associated to those invoices. So I can see that I have £42,000 in query, and that is due to the fact that the customer is saying the invoices are not received. And we can see that I've sent a copy on the 21st of the 5th, which was yesterday. We can also see that there's a rather large amount in query, and that's due to a service issue. And as a company, we've agreed to issue some credits. And the final queries we've got are due to some usage queries. So let's just have a look at the usage query issue. Okay, so we can see that we have a number of customers with usage queries, and we can also start to expand this. So let's look at the invoices, and we can open up these invoices. So again, you can drill down into each of these. So this is in query. I can see it's a usage query, and the invoice date is dated the 1st of the 8th, 2003. Let's have a look at this one. Again, this one's dated the 1st of the 8th, 2003. So what I could do is actually look at my service. If I've got my dashboard, I could have a service element on here to understand, actually, there was a degradation in the service in August. So I can see why these invoices are in query. Okay, let's just come back to our dashboard again. So let's now talk about payments. I can see that I've got invoices due this month for 7.5 million. Now, what we've done is with our org, we've got it connected directly to our bank. And every day the bank is going to ship in a bank statement. And what Salesforce is going to do, it's going to look through that bank statement, it's going to identify the payments, and it's going to automatically match those payments against invoices that are outstanding in the system. Now, I'm not going to wait for that API job to run. So I'm just going to head over to my payment screen, and I'm just going to upload a payment as if it was coming in from the API daily batch job. It's just waking up for the day. So I'm just going to upload my file. Let's go into my demo, and this is my bank API file. Okay, so that's now been uploaded, and let's hit next. So what's happening now is those payments are being created, and they're also going to be matched against the invoices. So I can see here a number of payments have been created. We can see the payment date is all set today. The payment type is bank transfer, and here we have the amounts. Now, I'm just, again, going to go back to my dashboard. You can see this dashboard is quite powerful for me. And if I now hit refresh, we should see that this balance is going to drop down, and my age debt should also change. So let's give this a quick refresh. Okay, there we go. So we can see my my cash collected year to date has jumped up to 48 million. My invoices due this month has now reduced to 0 because my customers have paid everything. And let's just refresh again. My age debt report will have changed. So let's just, I can only refresh this once a minute, so it might get an error. Yeah. It looks like the reports behind the dashboards didn't refresh. So let's give that another couple of minutes. Okay, while that's doing that, what we can do is go back into my payments. Now, I can then start to have a look at each of these payment records. So let's open my Mocha code, Diageo, Lorex. Okay, so here's the payment records that have been created. And as you can see, there is a balance of 0, and we can see there is an allocation associated to this payment. So let's now jump into the invoice. So we can see straight away the status flag is green. So that's showing me that the invoice has been paid. So the invoice has been paid. We have a balance on the invoice as 0. So what this has done is it's taken all of that manual payment creation, payment uploading, and payment allocation away from me. So I can just start to then focus as a credit controller. I can then start to focus on what is important to me. So again, my dashboard, give it a refresh. My age debt. So it looks as though I've paid a lot of my old invoices. So there's filters on here. So we're looking at balances that are greater than 0 and invoices that are overdue. So I could move this and we will potentially see, okay, so I've paid all of my invoices. Now, what we're also doing by moving the kind of billing into Salesforce, we're also given the ability to automate some of those other manual tasks that we do. So let's think about dunning as part of collections. So as accounts start to go overdue, we have an automated dunning process, which can, now this dunning process can be different based upon your customer type. So let's think about how Einstein Copilot can also help us. So we've got a lot of information directly within our CRM now. We can really start to understand the trends of customers, how they're paying, the invoices that go overdue, and the type of profile of customer that has invoices going overdue. Now, what Einstein could do, it could start to suggest how we can automate these dunning processes. So it could tell me, okay, for this type of customer, you need a very heavy touched dunning process where as soon as the invoice has gone overdue by 1 day, let's send out an email. As soon as the invoice is overdue by 5 days, let's send out a letter. By 7 days, let's send out another email. And that could give me a lot of automated tasks. But also it could look at other customers where they need a low touch collection dunning method. So let's not bother them until their invoices go overdue by, let's say, 15 days. We'll send out an email. Einstein has identified that as soon as they receive the first email, they tend to send that payment in. So that's where, what I say, moving your customer touch points, moving your billing into Salesforce can really kind of enhance the way things work. So what I'm going to do now is come back to my slide deck. So we've seen how billing can assist you taking that order through into billing. So what we're saying is billing should be part of your CRM. So we've spoken about customer touch points, and invoicing as well as dunning is also considered a customer touch point. So that should naturally sit within your CRM. But your ERP, that maintains the system of financial record. We're not trying to take any of that away. We're not saying that we can deal with your financial records. We know where we're good and we know where ERP is good. So ERP can do all of your financial reporting, all of your returns, all of those key reports that need to go out to auditors, to the tax office, etc. But let's move those touch points directly into your CRM, and let's really start to improve that customer experience that your customers get, whether it be from marketing through to an invoice going out, but also that communication around payment collection. With that, I'm now going to pass back to Sander to see if we've got any closing comments, and then we'll move on to any questions that may occur as part of the demo.
Thank you, Justin, and for the amazing demo for presenting billing on the Salesforce platform. We got a couple of questions that came in. So one of the questions is from, how easy is it to deploy billing when using CPQ already? Is that something that you want to answer, Justin?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so either Bish or myself can answer this. So yeah, I mean, once you've got the foundation set by CPQ, CPQ creates an order and then billing picks up from that order. So as long as you've got all of the foundations laid we all know the good foundations for CPQ comes from your products being set up correctly. Now that's the same as billing. So we just extend the product slightly with some of your billing rules, but it's not a massive extension. So the billing rules, the tax rules, the revenue recognition rules, they're all appended to the product. Now, as you move through into order and you create the order products inherit the stuff from CPQ, but also from billing. So it's just, from my perspective, it's just an extension of what you've already configured within your CPQ. We do need to do some extra configuration around the tax rules, billing rules, and any revenue recognition rules, but that's just a natural extension. So it should be a pretty seamless process from going from CPQ into billing. Bish, have you got any other comments you'd like to add on from that?
Yeah, just a flavor from a technology standpoint. Billing is its own managed package, which can be installed off the back of the CPQ managed package, and it enables other extensions on top of the goodness that you've already got with Salesforce CPQ. As Justin was alluding to, it enables few more fees on your product objects that are necessary for driving billing behavior, whether that's your billing rules, your tax rules, or revenue recognition rules. And then it also provides all the infrastructure that is necessary to drive your billing process. It's designed to work seamlessly with Salesforce CPQ, hence there should not be any challenges in adding it off the back of CPQ.
Okay, thank you very much, Justin, on this. I got another question, but that is one that I can answer. The question is around from how is billing priced? So utilization-based pricing. So it looks to the total invoiced amount, and which is basically the total value of the goods, including shipping and handling charges, but excluding tax. Just want to check if there are any additional questions that the community has. No, I don't see any. Okay.
Sander, I'm just picking up on a question now. Somebody has asked, how does it work if you've got multiple entities? So what today we focused on was just a UK entity. Now, with CPQ and billing, it gives you the ability to be able to bill from multiple entities. So let's say you have a UK entity, you have a US entity, and an APAC entity. Now, you are able to create legal entities within the background, and based upon, and these rules again can be configured based upon your business process. It could be, I've got certain reps in these regions that are only selling from a certain legal entity. So my US reps are my US entity, my UK reps are selling UK. So based upon that logic, what can happen is a quote can be created and a subsequent order, which is linked to the profile. So my US reps will have the US legal entity. Now, when the invoice is generated, what it will do is it will start to utilize tax rules that are based upon the US legal entity, because taxation is very different in the US than it is to the UK. So it would utilize a completely different tax engine and apply the sales taxes based upon that region. But what it will also do is it will give you the ability to have the invoice document as well as the quote document. They will have the legal entity that is specific for those clients, and also show the currencies that those AEs are working in. But also it writes the transactions into different ledgers. So if we're talking about revenue recognition, you would have your US P&L and your US balance sheet. And again, you could have a UK P&L and a UA balance sheet. And you could have different rules based upon any revenue recognition standards that you've got. So depending on how complex it is, or how easy it is, Salesforce Billing really does give you the ability to work as kind of multi-entity, multi-currency, or single entity and single currency. It really is that flexible because you're on the Salesforce platform. And I hope that answered that question. Back to you, Sander, to see if there's any more questions that have come in off the back of that one.
Let me check. It's now still time to ask your final questions. If no other questions, then we can slowly move to the next slide. And then towards our attendees, I would like to request to reach out to me and the team if you have any feedback/questions. What we could do, we can help you in exploring how the solutions aligns with your specific challenges and goals by organizing this discovery session. We can also take the next step with a personalized guide through the different solutions, CPQ, billing, revenue lifecycle management. So we can organize a one-to-one session and to educate you on that. Where you can find our contact details, or where can you find additional information around our products, just follow Salesforce and Fix on LinkedIn. We are all active on that. So as we come across the top of the hour, I want to thank you all for your time and interest in understanding how Salesforce can transform your financial operations. And we hope to see you back next time. Thank you very much for attending. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.